wonderful women warriors. Take a deep breath. I don't know about you, but it has been a season. So, my dad passed away about, I guess it's been 9 or 10 weeks now. My grandmother passed away 2 weeks ago. We came back from her celebration of life to Hurricane Milton. The hits just keep on coming. And one thing I noticed in this season is as stress increases, my emotional eating increases as well. And I came across this book while shopping at Hobby Lobby for my daughter. And it seemed divinely timed because I have another book on the same subject that I'm reading. So, as I was reading these things, I thought, you know what? What I know for sure as somebody who is an expert in behavioral change and transformation is we're stronger and more successful when we're together. That's why businesses are formed with teams. My daughter is very independent. I don't know where she gets it from. But one day I was trying to tell her, you do not have to do everything by yourself. And I said, imagine if we really believed that we had to do everything by ourselves. And we were driving down the road at the time. I said, imagine if I had to build this car's engine, pull the oil, extract the oil from the earth, refine it to go into the gas, design the whole car, put the tires on, engineer the roads, map the community. There is no way we do things better when we're together. I know that for sure wholeheartedly. I rise when I'm with others. I've joined the Porsche Club of America. Being new to town, I had to find a way to make friends. I was at a service appointment. This gentleman said, you should join it. It'd be a great way to make friends. I always listen to my elders. So when an 81-year-old with a lot of season in life tells me something, I said, I will do it. And I noticed just being in the presence of people who have very classy, high standards and impeccable taste in vehicles, I am a better version of myself. I also am getting ready to make this big buying decision for my daughter. It's the equivalent of a Porsche for her to ride. It has four legs and will take her over big jumps. And as I spend time in these communities of true excellence, I mean, these horses are true trained athletes. It's not the small leagues anymore, like where we played in Colorado. And so I'm noticing that in that leveling up, there is an excellence that emerges. And I think about Ron Berger in his book, An Ethic of Excellence. He talks about how once you have a taste of excellence, nothing else will satisfy you. Hi, Leanna. It's so great to see you. I just want to shout out a little giggle to you and laugh with you, girl. So, as we think about that, our standard of excellence is part of who we are in community. So when I designed this 40-day sugar fast inspired by this book and this book, I thought to myself, you know what? We need to do it together. Like I've gained 13 pounds starting the worst professional decision of my life, and have now created a conclusion of that. Push stop, we're restarting, extraordinary life edit, take things away, add things in, keep it simple. You don't need a massive reinvention, right? We don't have the energy for that. So I thought, you know what? The one thing I know that changed the trajectory of my disease, I'd be bald and fuzzy headed in the aftermath of a lot of chemotherapy right now had I not changed my disease with food and biobehavioral choices. So I learned a lot about energy because cancer cells can't survive certain HZ frequencies and they cannot survive in an alkaline environment. So that's food and energy. And I thought, you know what? Food and energy is a power source. I gained a toned, flat tummy. And I also learned that your stomach is the area that is the greatest indicator of your health. Well, right now, mine has got a muffin top again. Again, I promised myself I would never let this happen, but here we are. And so I thought, you know what? I'd rather do it with brilliant beauties right alongside me. I know I'll have more inspiration, more uplift, and more success faster if I'm with others. And so I'm going to be launching this October 19th. Why that day, you ask? Because 40 days from October 19th is Thanksgiving Eve. So we'll make it all the way through the Halloween season. And Then on the day after our fast ends, we'll be able to enjoy Thanksgiving and we'll have rewired our taste buds so we won't be reaching for the things we would typically be reaching for. So, let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. J, the founder of Building Brilliance and the creator of the Shift Happens podcast. One thing I know for sure, if you're in your 30s or 40s or anywhere beyond, you know that shift happens. Life doesn't always go as planned, and we have to lead ourselves through the pivot points. That's why I created this space. I wanted a psychologically safe space where shift can get real, where we can talk about leadership and we can talk about life. You see, I believe we are all leaders, and each and every day we lead the most difficult person on the planet. I've led the creation of downtown Denver's first elementary school. I've led innovation grants supporting the development of educators across the state of Colorado, advised the Senate, White House, Gates Foundation, created learning and performance departments to help companies develop a high performance culture in rapidly changing high growth environments. And I've led many individuals, teams, and organizations. One thing I know for sure, there is one person that is harder than every other person to lead. She's sitting right here in front of you. It's me. And I believe that each and every one of us are leaders because every day we lead ourselves. Some of us have the opportunity to lead others, and some of us lead leaders. I call that the empowered leadership model. It's what I published in my dissertation, SOL, self, others, leaders. You can make them in nested circles in your notes. So we all lead ourselves. Some of us do that better than others, and that's how we lead ourselves to ultra high levels of performance and success. To lead our lives and experience the lifestyle ambitions that we long for, we have to master ourselves. Self mastery is the center or cornerstone of our lives. So, this 40-day challenge is designed to take you to the next level of leadership. But that might not have been what you actually were bargaining for. You might go, you know what? Yes, like my friend Teresa, she's like, yes, those little Twix. How is it that one little Twix turns into every Twix in the bag, right? Those little multi-pack bags, and you're like, where's the other Twix? Where's the other Twix? Next thing you know, you've eaten like 8. You're like, I was just gonna have one. That's because sugar is highly addictive by design, and they sneak it into everything. And so we are going to practice insane amounts of discipline, insane amounts of joy and laughter with one another while trimming our waistlines, feeling sexy and sassy, and gaining the confidence that we need to step into that next level of ambition in our lives. You see, for me, I'm getting ready to make a massive investment in my child. And I've been sitting on this fence of like, as a mother, what is my moral responsibility to this child? Part of me, I get into tough love mode. That's how I was raised. So it's like, you know what, honey? I provide you food, water, and shelter. I provide you an education. Then you're off on your own. You can make your dreams come true just like I did. That's the tough love I was raised with. So should work for her, right? I see this generation and they don't operate that way. I know many women and families who are struggling right now raising their children because these children have an entirely different OS. Their operating system is not the same as ours. And so then I think about my moral obligation because I brought this child into this world is to set her up for success. Well, for her, success in her dreams is jumping horses in the Grand Prix. Well, these kinds of horses come with a 6-figure price tag. And so my lifestyle ambition has to rise in order to provide that for her. That's scary stuff for me. I was broke as a joke when she was born. She never had a high chair. We couldn't even afford grapes because that is an expensive fruit. You can buy 40 bananas for the price of a bunch of grapes, right? And that'll last you some days, right? A month's worth of bananas for one small snack of grapes. And so I had to learn to pinch pennies. I had to learn how to root into who I am, to rise to what I aspired to become, to be in the space where I could make our wildest dreams come true, move us across the country to the horse capital of the world, buy a beautiful brand new modern farmhouse on an acre and a half, keep her horse at the barn so that that burden and level of responsibility is a little bit off of our shoulders. And that allows her to, because early on, I was kind of positioning her as the stable hand. Like, hey, can we volunteer for some time with horses? And then eventually I was able to afford this hobby of hers. And now we're kind of at that decision point where do we just invest in college or do we invest in her dream, which is not college and this horse? It's a big deal. I have 4 degrees. College worked for me. So to invest in something that's totally different and foreign is very scary. Yet at the same time, I also know from working for the Department of Higher Education in Colorado that higher ed is under threat because they haven't delivered on their promise. There's a lot of people who have degrees and debt, and they're not using them. And there's a lot of people like me in corporations that are creating apprenticeship programs saying, don't go to college, come here and learn. We pay them less than an employee with specific benchmarks of performance and provide them with the learning and experience they need to reach that high level. So instead of going and acquiring debt, they're acquiring a paycheck and experience along the way. And so there's a lot of change happening, a lot of shift happening. And so I just think deeply about my own paradigm of what does success look like. I'd love to hear from you. Type it in the chat. What would you do as a mom? Would you say, you know what? Suck it up, Buttercup. The school of tough love worked for me. You will figure it out on your own someday later. And if you think about that, think about how many children can't even afford an apartment, right? So when is she going to be able to afford the kind of horse that can get her to this level? She'll be too darn old to actually ride, possibly by then. I don't know. I would just love to hear your thoughts and insights on that. And now we're going to dive into this topic, the one thing that can boost your business and your life, and that is going to be breaking free from sugar. Because one of the things I learned when I was starving cancer cells in my body, see, I was laid off 2 days before my cancer diagnosis came. And so I had to starve these cells while we got insurance squared away as I transitioned onto what's called Cobra. And in that time, I had to give up sugar. It was the month of December. Every decadent sweet treat was in front of me all the time. And by practicing discernment and discipline and knowing that I was either feeding sugar or fueling optimal health with every single decision, I gained so much empowerment, so much confidence, and a little bit of definition in my abs. Not quite a 6-pack, but I was fine with like my little 2 to 4-pack. And I felt so sexy when I'd walk past the mirror. It was like Mary J. Blige's Just Fine. You know, where she says, I like what I see when I'm looking at me and I'm walking past the mirror. And I'm like, woo, yeah. I was liking what I saw. And I had never experienced that in my life. Never, ever, ever. Hi, Connor. Thanks for stopping in, sweet boy. It's great to see you too. And so I hadn't experienced that level of confidence in myself. But it's from doing hard things that we gain momentum. Clarity comes in momentum. Clarity comes in movement. A lot of times we wait to move until we're clear. And it's like, I used to wait for clarity before movement. I would gain clarity through strategic analysis of data and then create a strategic plan, step 1, 2, 3, and go marching off. Then I started to learn that actually it was amidst change and uncertainty, movement helps you gain clarity of what direction. In technology development, they call that agile and waterfall development methodologies. Now I also, because I know that I'm being divinely guided and that my higher self and counsels and God are guiding me, I now know that instead of fighting for success, I can be in flow with the divine and just trust that everything is happening for me and because of me. So a big part of this 40-day sugar and faith fast is to help you step into your full potential, gain confidence, honor your health. And as I mentioned, we're kicking off October 19th because we will conclude 40 days on Thanksgiving Eve. So perfect timing for you to practice discipline during the sweet season of Halloween while also dropping a few pounds to feel that vibrant energy and optimal health that you're going to need to carry yourself through the holiday season. So I think that's what you call divine timing. So there are 4 things I want to talk to you about today. The first is the power of discipline. If you've ever tried to give up sugar, you know it's not easy. But here's the thing, discipline is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it becomes. And as your discipline grows, your confidence grows. So discipline goes up, confidence goes up. When you decide to cut sugar out of your diet, you're not just giving up sugar. You're reclaiming health and control over your habits and your life. Sugar has a way of creating a dependency physically and emotionally. And when you cut it out, you're telling yourself, I can do hard things. I'm stronger than my cravings. This is also biblical. In Proverbs 25:28, it says, like a city whose walls are broken through is a person who lacks self control. When we don't control what we put into our bodies, we feel vulnerable, just like a city without walls. Discipline creates that strong foundation and that armor of protection to allow us to face life challenges with more confidence. So, the first thing I want you writing in your journals is discipline is power. It's like a muscle, right? When we practice discipline and when we get out of the dependency and addictive design of sugar, we gain physical and emotional strength. And we're telling our subconscious, I can do hard things. I am stronger than my cravings. So, discipline is power. Part two that I hope that you get out of this program is the physical transformation. Your energy levels will stabilize. That's a natural, right? Because you won't have the big peaks and valleys. But here's the other thing, your mood improves. Your good food equals good mood. Depression is actually linked to food. Anxiety is linked to food. And the opposite of those things is also true. Elation. I remember reading the words postpartum elation when I was pregnant with Gigi. And I said to myself, I'm going to choose that over postpartum depression. And I'm going to consciously focus on that so much that I experience elation. And that is the transformation that happens when we focus on good foods, good moods. We're changing our biochemistry with every bite that we eat. And so that will impact our mood. And the best part too, we'll feel a lot better when we slim and trim our waistline. Because sugar causes inflammation, it's a big contributor to weight gain. And when you eliminate it, you set yourself up for weight loss and increased vitality and longevity in life. So this Bible verse that goes with this one is thinking about your body as a temple, and that when you do that, you're honoring God. 1 Corinthians 6:19-20 says, do you not know that your bodies are temples of the Holy Spirit who is in you, whom you have received from God? You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor God with your bodies. One thing I notice about myself as I went through this cancer journey with no sugar, I could literally wrap myself in the vibrational energy of the Holy Spirit at any given time. Over the past 8 weeks in this highly, highly stressful job, eating a lot of garbage, treating my body as if what I put in doesn't matter, I haven't been able to do that. Some believe it's the calcification of your pineal gland, that when you decalcify your pineal gland, you'll have greater connection to your third eye and the divine wisdom that exists in the universe. And so when we give up sugar, we also give ourselves that physical transformation that allows us to hear and discern the voice of God, to feel the Holy Spirit in our lives. The third is spiritual and metaphysical alignment. So let's take that one step further and talk about the metaphysics of giving up sugar. Many of us who operate in the space of high performance physiology believe that what we consume affects our energy and our vibration. When you remove toxins like sugar from your diet, you elevate your frequency, and your vibration is where you manifest from. I always tell my clients, get your gals. Those are the 3 letters. It's an acronym we use. They're the 3 letters of the highest vibrational words from which to manifest. We'll be talking about those in the program, and we'll be aligning our action plan with them. So as we elevate our frequency, we have higher levels of consciousness, clarity, and connection with our spiritual selves. The discipline of saying no to sugar is saying yes to the things that elevate your spirit and your mind. When you're not bogged down by sugar crashes or cravings, you have more mental energy to focus and devote towards your goals, your dreams, your relationships. Cutting sugar isn't just about the weight we'll lose. It's about gaining alignment with your highest vibrational self and your higher purpose. In Matthew 6:22 and 23, it says, the eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. By choosing what you consume with care, you fill your body with that light energy. And that light is reflected in your spirit, in your mind and thoughts, in your relationships and connections with others. It emulates everywhere. Today in church, the pastor said, be the light, be the salt, and be the honey, because sugar is unhealthy. So he switched be sugar to be honey. And the fourth piece, our fourth and final, is the confidence connection. When we practice discipline, health, and spiritual alignment, confidence naturally flows from us. When you make a tough choice and you draw that line, I call it my line in the sand moment. You draw the line in the sand and you say, starting today, I will not. I don't. When I gave up sugar for part of my cancer journey, I used the research on the words I don't. I'm going to pull them up real quick here on my laptop. Here we go. This was from a woman named Dr. Vanessa. Where is it? Oh, come on. Dr. Vanessa Patrick, who is a Bauer Professor of Marketing at the University of Houston. She reported on the power of self-talk in the Journal of Consumer Research, and she found that when participants framed a refusal as I don't, like I don't eat chocolate cake or I don't eat sugar, instead of I can't, they were more successful in resisting their desire to eat unhealthy foods or skip the gym. Saying I don't, get this, write this down in your journal, I don't, is 3 times more effective than saying no, and 8 times more effective than saying I can't. Think about that, because often when we try to make a health decision, I can't eat sugar versus I don't eat sugar, hear the vibrational energy of those words. When we say I can't, we're disempowering ourselves and we become weak and whiny versions of ourselves. And we can use this trick in all corners of our lives. I say, when Gigi's dad left us and I started to think men were worthless pieces of beep, I had to reframe a lot of those beliefs. And I told myself, I don't speak negatively about men. I don't believe all men are like her father, right? I used that empowered language. I don't panic in the face of a hurricane. I remain calm. Notice how empowered that language is. And so we're going to use empowered language of I don't eat sugar or toxins that diminish my energy and health. And how empowering that is. I don't skip my workouts. I keep my promises to myself. So those are beautiful things that build our confidence. And when we make those tough choices, we prove to ourselves that we can conquer any obstacle. Confidence, you see, isn't really about perfection and being the most perfect version of ourselves. It's about progress. So every time that you say no to sugar, you're building trust with yourself, which increases your self-worth. Jamie Kern Lima, who's an author of the book Worthy, she did a lot of research on people's self-worth. And over 70%, I think it was 73 and 78 for men and women respectively, of people do not feel worthy. And so if over 3/4 of us are walking around not feeling good enough, the one thing I think we need to do is say no to something hard so that we build that confidence muscle, we build the discipline, and we do it together in a spirit of joy and uplift and community to just be working on something that's beneficial for ourselves during a season when the world's going off the rails would be really good for your body, mind, and spirit. And so we're going to wrap that section up on the confidence connection with Hebrews 12:11. Hebrews 12:11 says, "No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it." That peace and confidence comes from the discipline of making the right choices, even when it's hard. So, are you ready to say yes to your health, your confidence, and alignment? If so, giving up sugar is that first step that you can take to gain that power and be the best version of yourself. If you're ready to take action and get started, this Saturday we're kicking off. So whether it's cutting back on sugary snacks or making a plan to remove it entirely from your diet. This includes alcohol, my friends. Alcohol is loaded with sugar. So you'll be giving up alcohol, you'll be giving up sugar, you'll be giving up all of the toxins and poisons that diminish your self worth, that make you feel sluggish and tired, and saying yes to your absolute best self. So I want to thank you for joining me today as we make shift happen and give up sugar for 40 days. I hope this message inspires you to make the choice that honors your body, aligns your spirit, and boosts your confidence. Until we meet next week, stay strong, stay disciplined, and remember, you can do hard things. With that, go out and shine your love and light into the world, my friends. Mwah.